Tensions in the Middle East are intensifying as Iran and Israel continue trading missile strikes.
The president is reportedly engaged in urgent talks on the conflict with the national security team after he left the G7 summit in Canada Monday. WGN's Dana Rebick is joining us now with more. Dana.
Well, there are many people on edge tonight wanting to know what exactly is on the mind of President Trump in what is likely to be one of the most consequential decisions of his presidency. He ran on this notion of being a peace president, wanting an end to wars around the world, and how he will navigate this conflict and if the U.S. will get involved in Iran is still not known.
I think that he doesn't want to get dragged into a war. And I think we're at the brink of going one way or another.
President Trump meeting with top advisors in the Situation Room this afternoon for more than an hour. Details of that meeting still unclear. The president briefly speaking to reporters as he returned early from the G7 summit last night.
We'll come down so hard if they do anything to our people.
Trump tweeting today, "We know exactly where the supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target, but is safe there. We are not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now."
Because if Israel assassinates him, as they had planned to do, then he won't have him to negotiate with. And I think he, being who he is, and the Ayatollah being who he is, know how to negotiate with one another.
The U.S. has repositioned warships and military aircraft in the region to respond if the conflict escalates. Gulf states have warned Trump that the U.S. cannot use military bases in their countries to launch attacks on Iran. Israel's defense minister saying today they plan on striking very significant targets in Tehran, warning residents to evacuate after already hitting 3 key Iranian nuclear facilities. Iran's military saying it struck an Israeli military intelligence center in Tel Aviv with a guided missile.
I agree. We should have some say-so about it, especially if it's involves possible World War III, in which it could.
This is not our war. This is Iran's war. The President of the United States is the commander-in-chief of our forces. He listens to all of us.
No, I wouldn't want to support anything that might curtail his ability to move and destroy that nuclear facility for Iran right now. I think it's entirely appropriate. I think I've been the first one here that's been calling the destruction of that facility.
Iran has launched more than 370 missiles and hundreds of drones at Israel since Friday. So far, 24 people have been killed in Israel and more than 500 injured. 224 people have been killed in Iran. Back to you.
All right, Dana, thanks.